Hello everyone, and welcome to my King Black Dragon guide. In this guide, I will show you really good methods on how to take down the King Black Dragon, whether that be for a Slayer task, or if you're just hunting for the head, the pet, or any of the uniques that it drops specifically. The unique items that you can get are the pet, the KBD heads, which you can recolor the helm to become a black Slayer helm, the Dragon Pickaxe, and the Draconic Visage. This guide will be aimed more towards the high level players, but you can definitely do KBD at a low level. It's just the items that you'll be using would obviously not be as high tier as you see in the screen right now, and these aren't necessarily items I necessarily bring anyway fully. I do bring the lance, but I don't bring the bandos. I'm just kind of showing off right now, I guess, but definitely you want to bring as best gear as you can possibly use. But remember, the way to KBD is through the wilderness, so you want to be careful of what you bring. You only want to bring what you're willing to lose, because a lot of people do hang over there and do PK. That's why using your best total level world is also suggested. So, with saying that, let me quickly downgrade some of my gear. That's better. Alright, so we're going to start with the gear that I recommend bringing. Now, I'm going to be showing pretty max gear. As you can see, I have the Dragon Hunter Lance, and I also have a Dragonfire Shield. But I also do have some low level stuff, and that's because, like I said, we are going through the wilderness, and I don't want to risk as much as I have to. Because you don't really need like primordials and stuff like that here. Like Dragon Boots do just as fine. Primordials only give like an extra strength bonus, so it's not really that worth it. I do bring a Fury, though you can just bring a Glory if you don't want to risk the Fury, but definitely you don't need the Dragon Hunter Lance. It's really, really good here, but you don't need it. Like, you can use like a Dragon Sword if you're maybe an Iron Man or just a low level, or even a Dragon Scimitar, or even a Rune Crossbow. Range works really well here. A lot of people do use Rune Crossbows here with like Broad Bolts or any other like of the bolts that they can use. Definitely do suggest for low levels of Rune Crossbow and using ranged. Why I'm using Bandos D'hide as well. It's basically Blessed D'hide, or the sense that it gives like a prayer bonus, and you don't really need armor here because basically we're going to be protecting from most of the things that we can protect from, and the maximum hit we'll be taking is a 10, so we can just use this for the prayer bonus and the fact that it also is like high in magic defense, which is what we kind of want. I'm bringing an RD Cloak due to the fact that it's easy to get back. If you do die with it, you can basically get back for almost completely free. You don't need the RD Cloak 4. Even the RD Cloak 1, 2, and 3 all give a really good stab bonus, and that's why I have it, is because it's one of, if not the best, stab bonus cape in game. At least 4 is definitely the best. The other ones are still good, but definitely if you have a 4, use it. But same with the Treasonous Ring, that's why I have it. Treasonous, I have it imbued as well. It's also the best stabbing ring, and we will be using stab on KBD due to that is its main weakness through melee. Like I said, I have a DFS just because it's better than a anti-dragon shield, and it's got a strength bonus that's pretty high. I got myself a blessing for the prayer bonus. You can use any of them, and I'm using Barrow's gloves, but you can use anything. Like, you don't need to be high level to do this. I'm just bringing the max gear because it's kind of just what I have, and obviously I'm on Slayer tasks, so I'm bringing a Slayer helm. But if you're not on Slayer tasks, you can just use like a Serpentine helmet, or you can use any other type of Nezi knot. Like, you don't need anything great. This is a really low level boss. I'm just using, like I said, max gear because I can afford it, and I might as well use it in the video to show you what the best kind of gear is. I mean, technically T-Bow is a little better, but Dragon Hunter Lance is just, I prefer it. I don't know, I really like using it. It's really fun, and I really love the run animation with it. I don't know why, but I just think it looks really cool. Now, for inventory, if you're meleeing, it might be a little different if you're ranging and if you're a lower level. It all depends, I guess. Just kind of use what you think you're going to need, but just base it kind of off of this. I bring 1 super combat potion. You don't really need more than that. You're going to probably bank before you're going to use more than that, though you do get to stay here for a long time. If you do this properly, you can basically stay for like your entire task. You can do like 50 kill trips, but still 4 doses should be fine for that kind of time, and even if you run out of it, you can still stay without it. It's not that important, but what is important is the anti-fire. I only bring 1 because I'm only bringing 1 combat potion. You can bring 2 if you think you're going to stay for a lot longer. It's really up to you, but definitely want to bring a super anti-fire, or an anti-fire in general. I bring an extended super anti-fire just because it's the best one. Might as well just use it. It's not that big of a deal, but you can use any of them, really. I bring an Antidote Plus Plus. He does poison you occasionally, so it's just good to have that so you don't get poisoned and take damage that is unnecessary. I bring about 5 to 6, depending on how much I feel I'm going to stay for super restores or prayer potions. So I'm bringing 5 in this, but sometimes I bring 6. It just depends. But 5 seems to be pretty decent for me. I just bring 2 anglers. You don't really need to bring anglers. They're just nice to overheal if you ever want to, but you can not do it. It's nice when you're going through the wilderness because if there is a PKer, you do have a little bit higher chance to live if your HP is above your maximum, of course. So definitely worth it in that sense, but it's not necessarily needed if you don't want to bring them. You don't have to. I bring manta rays, but sharks do just as fine. I just bring manta rays because it's the main food I use. They're pretty cheap and they heal a lot. So yeah, it's pretty decent. They heal, I think, 2 more than a shark. It's pretty good. Burning Amulet is to get there, and I'll show you that in a minute. I'm bringing a construction cape and a crafting cape, but if you don't have those, it's okay. Only thing they're for is like teleporting. This is just to get to the bank, and this is to get to my house to use my rejuvenation pool after I am done the trip, because then it'll heal my prayer and my HP to full and everything like that. I don't bring a spec weapon. You can bring like claws or something like that, but I don't really care to do it. When you switch to claws, you lose your shield and you will take a lot more damage. And if you like DDS spec or something, it's not going to help too much, especially if you have like one of the best in slot weapons like a T-bow or a Dragon Hunter Lance or something like that. But if you do have just like a rune crossbow or something, or like if you're meleeing, so if you have like a dragon sword or something like that, maybe it's best to bring like a DDS or something like that. But it's when you have this, you don't really need a spec wep, so I don't really bring one. And as for levels, I would say it really depends. You can do this as a group if you're like all low levels. You can do this like with 3 people. I'd say if you're all in like the 70s of like if you're ranging or if you're doing melee, you could probably do it 70s pretty easily. But if you're soloing this, I'd say you should have at least 80 in the skill that you're using. So if you're ranging, I'd say like 80, and melees, you should have about 80 in each. It just seems like that's a good number for KBD because it is an easy boss and it's low level, as in like you can do it at lower levels. You could solo it with 60s or 70s probably. Wouldn't be ideal. You could probably do it though. But I do recommend like 80s if you want to have like efficient trips. Obviously I'm showing you on a maxed account, but I've definitely done this before I had maxed combat stats, so it's really up to you whether or not you want to try it when you're in the 80s or if you want to wait till you're in the 90s. Up to you, but definitely you can solo this with 80s. And you're also going to have Protect from Melee, so it's only 43 prayer. Everyone watching this probably has that, so just make sure you have that. But if you do actually have 70 prayer and Piety unlocked, or if you're ranging, you have 74 prayer and Rigor unlocked, they are really good to use as well if you can use them. They help you a lot. So in this video I will be using Piety, but you can definitely do it without them. They just help a lot. Use your best prayer that you can use though, but definitely you want to have Protect from Melee unless you're ranging. If you're ranging, you don't really need Protect from Melee, but for meleeing, you do want it because you'll be at melee distance and you'll be taking a maximum damage of 10 with that. So getting there. Currently I'm in a 2000 skill total world, not just because the world I was in was completely empty, but I do normally like to get there on like a 2200 world just because it's my highest total I can access and definitely safe to do so. So a lot of people in 2000 worlds sometimes. Right now there's only 155 people in this world, so I should be safe. Sometimes PKers do hang around there, so I'm going to go and try it at this world, but I do like to protect item just before I go, and as you can see, if I protect item and I go here, I am currently risking 1.7 mil, which is quite high. Definitely, like I said, bring what you're only willing to risk. I'm willing to risk this because it's not often do I get PK'd, but sometimes it can happen, and teams do hang out there, and they will try and skull trick you, so just be really careful. A really good trick to avoid being skull tricked is to actually go into here and to turn your player attack options to hidden. You won't be able to fight back, but that way you won't accidentally skull, and it's really good if you do bring expensive items like a Dragon Hunter Lance or Twisted Bow or something like that. So definitely just kind of watch out for the PKers and do have that set to hidden so you don't accidentally skull. It will save you probably a lot of money because a lot of them do try to do that. What they'll do is they'll skull trick you and then they'll try and drain your prayer to nothing, and then you're basically screwed and you'll lose everything. So just be really careful with that. So I'm gonna go there in a 2000 skill total world. I think that that's pretty. A lot of people have that, so I think that's not too unreasonable to say that what you should be expecting by getting there, though 2200 is definitely recommended if you do have it. I'm just going to assume a lot of people watching this might not have that, so let me just quickly teleport. So you want to go to the lava maze. I don't usually go on 2K world, so I'm a little bit nervous. I think I might get PK'd, but I'm only risking 1.7 mil, so it's not a big deal. But you do want to definitely check what you're risking. So you go to the lava maze, and you'll teleport right by these trees. You want to run around and go into this gate right here. And once you're in this gate, you can then climb down this ladder. And once you're down this ladder, you're pretty much safe from like these monsters attacking you unless they are in your combat range, but I don't believe they're usually aggro. So you can just kind of stand here. Oh, they are aggro. Never mind. And there's a lever here. So these do poison you, by the way. There's a lever here. You can commune, and it'll tell you if there's people in it. Currently, there are no adventurers inside. And you can even set private. And if you set private, basically what that does is it will cost you 50,000 coins, and it'll be an instance version of the KBD, so you don't have to worry about finding a world. So you can still do it in your highest total level world, but if you do die, you lose all of your items that you would normally have dropped to the ground. So it's not really worth it, in my opinion, but it's up to you, honestly. KBD is a pretty safe boss, and you shouldn't die here, especially when the more experience you get. Also, because this is still the wilderness, and you can go in and out of this lever as much as you wish, you can bring a looting bag. I didn't for this video, but you can bring a looting bag, and you can pick up the bones and hides, leave, bank them in, or like put them in the looting bag, and then you can just kind of go back and continue doing that if you want. Not if you're doing private, because 50,000 coins every time wouldn't be worth doing that, but you can definitely do that if you want to make a little bit more money. I don't do it personally, so I didn't bring it for this video, but you definitely can if that's what you wish to do. So I guess I'm going to pull the lever. I'm going to drink this, and I'm going to drink this, and we're now going to pull the lever, and we're going to head into the KBD lair. So in the KBD lair, you want to quickly pray melee. Pray melee, drink your combat potion and everything, and you want to go to attack the KBD. There you go. So just attack. I'm not doing anything right now, but sometimes you'll hit high, sometimes it'll take a while, but just kind of wait, and look at that, 46. Yeah, it's a pretty easy boss, straightforward. You'll only be taking damage from his magic attacks, which will max at 10 if you have the extended super anti-fire, DFS, and pray melee. So because you're only going to be taking a 10, it's not that dangerous. You can even just let your health drop to about like 11 and above, and then once you do take a damage, you can eat. So that's a pretty good way to do it. So there you go. Look at that. Just made bank in one kill, kind of. Well, not really bank, but if you're a lower level, that's quite good for one kill. It did not take very long, like you've seen. Obviously, I have max gear, so it would take a little longer if you don't have max gear. I'm just going to eat this just so I'm above max. Doesn't really matter. I just have them, so I might as well. I didn't before I went to the wilderness because I didn't really care. I kind of felt kind of safe. I mean, it's 2000 world with not very many people in it, so yeah, it's a little bit safe. But if you do go in a non-total world, you do have a really high chance of being killed. So maybe just get like an alt or a friend to maybe scout for you, or scout with no gear quickly and then go, but you do still have a chance of people showing up. So it is really sketchy, and you do have to be careful. Like I said, just bring what you're willing to lose, and you should be fine. Overall, the KBD is a really easy boss, and I don't think you should struggle with it very much. Like I said, I am on Slayer task, so I am hitting a little bit higher than you normally would, even if you have the same max gear and you're not on task. But it is still pretty easy, and you do hit really high. It doesn't hit you high, so it's really nice in that sense. And you can just drink your prayer, and there you go. And look at that. See? We just made a lot of money. Just again, like, just pick up what you can't, depending on if you have the looting bag or not. Looting bag is definitely worth it if you do want to come here for money. I'm only here for my Slayer task, so I don't really care about the money right now. It's whatever. It's just more for the XP. I do want the pet, and that is another thing that this does drop that is really cool. Is the pet. It's a really nice pet, and it's really it's not that rare. I think it's the same drop rate as all the Slayer creatures, so I think it's 1 in 2,000 or 1 in 3,000. I think it's 1 in 3,000. Not really 100% sure on the drop rate, but it's the same as all the Slayer monsters. So KQ, Serb, all that. I believe it's 1 in 3K. So yeah, it is 1 in 3K because I know Serb is 1 in 3K. So I'm 4K without the pet, and I'm kind of mad. But yeah, so it's pretty easy, like I said, and you should not struggle, especially if you're high level. But if you're low level, you still shouldn't really struggle. It's not. I think the hardest part of this boss is honestly finding a world. Usually it's pretty difficult. Obviously it wasn't for me because I already had this world before I started recording. I was just doing it from a task. I'm like, I'm gonna make a video. So yeah, it usually is pretty hard to find a world though. But yeah, see, I just got hit a 5. Like I said, he doesn't do that much damage. You can kind of just chill and not really pay too much attention to the hits unless you're just gonna camp at like 11 HP or whatever, 11 to above, and then just eat whenever you are under 10 HP. It's up to you, but definitely just stay above 10 HP and you should be fine. And yeah, just kind of attack them and make some bank. As you can see by my loot tracker here, I've done 12 kills and I've made 13 kills now. I made 330,000 GP, which is actually insane. I obviously haven't picked up everything, so I haven't personally made that, but that's what you can kind of expect in those kills. I don't know why I turned that off. Oops. But that's kind of what you can expect in those kills. So also, this mechanic, he does kind of freeze you sometimes, so you just kind of have to deal with that. But that's a bit annoying, but it is what it is. It's not really, you can't really avoid it, so it's just annoying mechanic. It doesn't really do damage to you, it just makes so you can't attack. Which kind of sucks, but yeah, so as you can see, 13 kills made me over 300,000 GP. I would say KBD with you, like if you have good gear and stuff like that, I would say you can make like probably 600,000 GP an hour or maybe more, depending on if you get uniques, of course. The uniques are worth quite a decent amount, but they are really rare, so don't be expecting to get them a lot because you definitely won't. I've gotten a dragon pickaxe here once, but I think it's one in like 1500, so yeah, definitely don't be expecting that anytime soon. It's pretty rare drops, so pretty much just going for like the basic like black dragon hide, the bones, and then like U-logs are good, and the dragon dark tips and all that kind of stuff. So see, I was just at 15 HP. I did eat, but then it hit me at 10 again. Would have put me to 5, so now I'm at 27. But like I said, 10 is the max, so it's pretty nice. Oh, there we go. We just got U-logs. That's a good drop. So as you can see, you just make some decent amount of money. I don't know. Sometimes you don't even have to turn that off. It just spawns so quickly. It has like an insanely fast spawn timer. So yeah, that's basically the boss, and there's not much more to talk about it. It's just straightforward past that point, and you just basically attack it and finish your slave task or get whatever you're going for. It's pretty fun. I don't mind doing it, and like I said, if you're a lower level, you can definitely do it in a team. So go bring your friends and see what you can get from the King Black Dragon. Yee. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching my King Black Dragon guide. I hope it helps you out, and if it did, please give this video a like and hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. I make a ton of other guides and other videos, and I plan to make a whole bunch more coming up in the near future, so stay tuned for those, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.